Welcome back to another Idiots Football Show. Here with your host, Zach, idiot number one. Glad to be back. Thank you for coming back as always. I'm here with two special guests today. I got idiot number two on my right, Jack. How you doing?
What's going on, guys?
And I got idiot number three on my left, Dallas. How you been?
We'll see Monday night.
Fair enough. So, in this special episode of the Idiots Football Show, obviously it is playoff time. So now we're going to get right into the playoffs. First, we're going to talk about the first round of the playoffs, kind of see where that's taking us, and then we're going to talk about the second round, third round, and then our Super Bowl matchups and with our hopeful Super Bowl winners. Now, one other important thing I did want to mention is that each of us are going to mention some type of, FanDuel lock of the week. Obviously, we're not sponsored by FanDuel, but that'd be a great thing if we were, bringing a nice chunk of change. But we are gonna have a lock of the week for you boys, just to keep the energy up, keep it going, hopefully win you guys some money. So we're gonna start on the AFC side of this playoff bracket for the 2022-2023 season. I'm gonna get right into the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Los Angeles Chargers, and Jacksonville is at plus 2.5 in the spread. Now, obviously, I don't think it's a huge surprise to many people that Jacksonville is obviously not favored in this game, but I think it can be argued that they might be the better team. Now, I don't know how you guys feel. Now, where are you guys at right now in this game?
I have the Jaguars winning this, and I think that's partially because they're home.
Okay. What about you, Dally?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so much excited for this game as I am for the quarterback's hair. I think we got two quarterbacks that have two of the most luscious locks in the game. I'm just hoping they wash their hair and use shampoo. I think the Jaguars are going to take this one 24-20. Yeah.
Ooh, hit him with the exact score. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think that we're going to see Jacksonville cover. I think we're either going to see Jacksonville, win this game by a point or maybe two, but not by three. And on top of that, I really do think the Chargers might have a chance to take this one home. Although they're on the road, we've seen in the past how Jacksonville really hasn't, they haven't been the most stable team all year, but they do have a good chunk of momentum going into this playoffs. That all being said, if we get down to the stats, you can see that, obviously Jacksonville isn't one of the greatest passing defenses in the league. They are very effective in the run defense, being a top 10 team, but what I do have to say is that I think that, the Chargers offense being as dynamic as it is with its defense, slowly over the season getting back, getting healthier, they do have guys like Joey Bosa, guys like Khalil Mack, real game changers on the edge on that defense. And that being said, they even have Derwin James right in the safety position, a hard-hitting safety who really does affect the way games can be played. Now, for a young quarterback, entering his first playoff round, of his entire career, I think this is going to be an interesting game. I really do. I really think that we're going to see probably a tight game. I just think the Chargers are going to pull it out just because they have more star power, they have more talent, they have a little bit more, and a little bit I think maybe an understatement, but they have a little bit more experience. Now, granted, their head coach, I don't think their head coach is as good as Dougie P. Dougie P's won a Super Bowl. He's been able to do a lot of different things. He's been able to be a dynamic guy, and he knows what it means to win and what it takes to be a playoff winner. So, I'm very interested to see how this game plays out. Now, I do have my lock of the week in this game. Currently, I have Keenan Allen at plus 130, anytime touchdown, and that's going to be my lock of the week. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think that's going to be an easy money thing. The Jags are not great with their air defense. They have a very hard time covering the pass. So, I'm going to take Keenan Allen, and if I could parlay all of it, what I would do is I would take Keenan Allen anytime touchdown, Austin Eckler anytime touchdown, and I'm also going to take Chargers money line. Boys, you got anything else to say, or are we just going to move right on to this next game here?
I think this is going to be a hard-fought game, close game. I do think the Jaguars have the edge, though, because they are at home. Also, I think the Chargers are known for being a bit of playoff chokers, and we'll see how that coaching staff holds up in the playoffs.
The Jaguars, to me, are going to be the better playoff team because Doug Peterson, the coaching. And I really do not like the coaching on the Chargers side. They've messed up a lot of big games and some big moments, and I just don't see them pulling this one out.
Also, I feel that maybe the Jaguars could be – I feel like every year maybe there's like a Cinderella story. I think the Jaguars could be that team this year, that they surprise some people.
I mean, they definitely do have the talent to be that Cinderella story. So, obviously we just saw what's going to happen in Game 1. Now we'll talk about Game 2 in the AFC. In a divisional rivals game, we're going to see it between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this spread is at 9.5. Obviously, we're going to see, the Ravens play another game without Lamar Jackson. Something that's going to really, really be pretty detrimental to this team, really hold them back. Now, we haven't seen Lamar Jackson play in seemingly something like 7 weeks. Now, that's really going to affect the Ravens. It's just not going to let them be the team they want to be. And they haven't been able to be that team recently. I've seen them play down to a lot of competition. They really don't look like they're, that they want to win some of these games. They're a very talented squad. It's very unfortunate to see them consistently play down to their opposition's level every single game and never play up. So I'm going to be honest with you. Not only do I think the Bengals are going to take this spread at -9.5, although it's big and against an in-division rival, I just don't see a way Baltimore can actually figure out how to win this game. I mean, they haven't been a team that's been all that hot as of late, and they haven't been a team that's, that can really compete with a team like the Cincinnati Bengals all year. They just haven't had the offensive firepower. Now, this is something that, I think a lot of people around the, around the fandom of the league have noticed, and I think it's going to be a very, very big thing for the Bengals moving forward, having that all those weapons and all that firepower. I think we're going to watch them kind of walk over the Ravens while they play in Cincinnati.
Even if the Ravens had Lamar Jackson, I still don't think they'd be able to win this game.
Yeah, this one is Bengals all the way. This one's easy. I don't think it's going to be much of a contest. Bengals take that one.
Now, are you guys taking the spread or?
Yeah.
I got Bengals
-9.5.
I got Bengals by at least 14.
It's probably going to change by the time it's
Bengals are going to walk
game
over the
time,
Ravens.
just because of the fact that Lamar isn't playing, and that was kind of just confirmed today.
No, that's very fair. That's very fair. So that was a quick game. Obviously, we're going to move on to our last game in the AFC slate. We're going to see how Buffalo takes on the Miami Dolphins, another in-division matchup in the first round in the AFC. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel very similar to the way I feel about the Bengals Cincinnati game. I'm sorry, Bengals.
This one's
Ravens
even worse.
game.
This one's even worse.
I mean, when you have Skylar Thompson starting against the Bills team that's been so dominant, I have a hard time seeing how he's going to be able to do anything. Every time he's played, he's looked like absolute fucking garbage. So I don't think it helps. I think when your team is supposed to be built on, a guy like Tua who's all about timing with his receivers, this team's all about, quick, being quick, being able to execute at a very high level, very fast pace. And when you have a guy like Skylar Thompson in there, it's not doable. It's just not doable. So I'm gonna be honest with you. This game's at 13.5. Miami. I don't like the spread just because the spread is gigantic. I never feel comfortable about betting a damn near 2 touchdown spread, even in the playoffs. I do think this game will be a blowout, but I would stay away from the spread. I think Bills take this game all the way. Easy game. This will probably be the least entertaining game of the entire playoff slate.
I 100% agree with that. Bills 35, Dolphins 10.
Wow. Jack, you have anything to say?
I got Bills -13.5, and I think it's obvious that they're taking this one.
Yeah.
Enough said there, boys. All right. So we'll quickly hop across the conference here, and we'll look at the NFC. So our first big playoff game of the NFC, obviously it's going to be Tampa Tom and the Buccaneers taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Tampa Bay. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. And we do have a Dallas fan in studio. His name even is Dallas. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to have to pass it off to Dallas here. See, I want to know what your thoughts are. Straight from a Cowboy fan. How do you think this is going to go this weekend? On a Monday night game, too. The last game of all the first round playoff games.
All right. We got it. All right. I'll put it you like this. The Cowboys. Oh, man. I don't even know where to start. The Cowboys, they are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get from the Cowboys. You don't know what team is going to show up from week to week. We saw that. They could look like amazing one week against the Eagles, and then the next week they play like shit against Washington. So, another stat that I like, Tom Brady is 7-0 against the Cowboys. Not good in that department. We're also wearing our blue jerseys. Don't like that. I don't like that one either. That's bad. Another stat I have for you. Cowboys were like 10-1 on turf this year, 1-4 on grass. This game is on grass. Not looking good for the Cowboys statistically here. They're down two cornerbacks, two of the best cornerbacks out for the year. You're going against Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, obviously. You got the double move king, I guess, in Mike Evans. Trayvon Diggs, he likes to bite on those double moves. So I mean, as a Cowboys fan, I wanna take the Cowboys, but I told myself after they lost in the wild card last year that I'm not getting my hopes up anymore. The Cowboys, they are what they are. They're one and done. The Bucs are taking it, bro.
I'm going to be honest with you.
2017.
I'm going to be honest with you. That was the greatest thing I've ever heard you say, talking about how bad the Cowboys are going to lose this game, I really do think that Tampa Bay is going to take this game.
I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they do. But until I see that, I can't.
I hope they don't. So, just to keep going about Tampa Bay here, Tom obviously hasn't lost to Dallas throughout his entire career. Tampa Tom, he's aged. He looks like he needs to go to Del Boca Vista, settle up in a retirement home, and call it a day. But he's still here to play, and we're gonna see how he does. I really think that Tampa Bay is gonna end up taking this game. Now the spread is at plus 2.5 towards the Cowboys right now. Something I'd actually be willing to take. I think they could keep it very close, but I don't see. I really do find it hard to see how Dak finds a way to beat Tampa Tom. And I think Bucks and Bucks at home. I think they take it easy.
The one thing though about the Cowboys, they have responded well after losses this year. A few times when they've lost, they've rattled off like 3 games in a row. So that could be the situation. We hope. They're coming in with a clean slate, playoffs. Everyone's 0-0. We'll see if they come in with the right mentality. Not sold on that fat fuck Mike McCarthy. If they lose this game, he's out, and I wouldn't be too mad about it because hopefully then we could get Sean Payton. So that would be cool.
Okay, Cowboys fan. I think the Bucks are gonna win this, and I think it's going to be close, though. I think the game is going to end on like a field goal or something. It's going to be a one-possession game in the fourth quarter.
You already know, Cowboys in the playoffs, there's going to be drama. There's going to be bullshit. Something's going to go down.
He's already planning to make excuses.
The refs are always against us in the playoffs.
Yep. There it is.
Sounds like a casual Dallas Cowboys fan right over here. So,
Did you just call him a casual?
I'm not a casual. I'm a realist.
Fair enough. At least you didn't say that this was our year this year. So
no,
I
it's not. It's not our year.
So we're gonna see them boys just take a hard L this weekend. Now enough of talking about that game. We'll move on to our next game on the slate. We're gonna see a rematch of a regular season game that happened a few weeks ago. One of the most exciting games in the NFL during that week was actually the Minnesota Vikings versus the New York Giants. A game that the Giants just lost, by a 61-yard field goal. Ended up being a 3-point game when it was all wrapped up and done. But a game that felt very winnable throughout the entire game, especially looking around and watching that Giants game, being with a couple of Giants fans on that day. It was really nice to see how the Giants responded well to a team that a lot of people feel are very fraudulent, a team that nobody really thinks should have 12 or 13 wins, but I'm going to be honest with you, I feel quite confident about the Giants this weekend. Even though I am an Eagles fan, that's one of the nice things. I've been able to watch this team twice this year already. Although both times, they didn't fare too well against my Birds, I would say that the Giants, they do have a little bit of fight in them. They have some great coaching by Brian Dable. Daniel Jones has looked like he's looked like Daniel Dimes instead of Danny Nichols. So it's been good to watch him actually be effective and efficient on the football field. This game is a spread at +3 towards the Giants, And obviously they're away. They're playing in Minneapolis. A game I don't feel all too confident for Minneapolis, especially if that's not a 1 o'clock game, because Kirk Cousins is pretty fucking bad at any other time for prime time. He's absolutely garbage. Kirk Cousins can't play in prime time, and every single game in the playoffs is going to be a prime time.
This is 4:30.
It's all prime time.
4:30.
It's not 1 o'clock. That's the
sun will be out.
That's not good for Kirk, bro. If the sun's setting by the time that game's getting close to being over, I'd be real careful to bet on him. I wouldn't be a fan.
All right, let me go. All right, so Vikings Giants. Yeah, I do agree though. It depends what Kirk Cousins shows up. Are we gonna get Kirko chains or are we gonna get Kirko primetime? I think we get Kirko chains in this game. I think the Giants. I don't know. I'm tired of hearing all this shit about the Giants, all my TikTok feed, everything on the Giants, like, oh, this year there's so many similarities between the 2011 Giants. Oh, it's a fourth year quarterback, and we got a good defense, good D line. Shut the fuck up. Daniel Jones is not Eli Manning. He's not Eli Manning. The Giants, they are fraudulent. Everyone says the Vikings are fraudulent. The Giants are fraudulent. They are overrated. They are playing way out of their minds. They're overachievers. Vikings take this one 23-10.
That's just not going to happen. I mean, the Vikings have a negative point differential, and
Doesn't mean anything.
It does. That means more than record, honestly. So I think the Giants are obviously going to take this one.
Obviously.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
That is
obviously.
bold.
Shut up, Cowboys fan.
All right.
All right. And my lock of the week is also in this game. I think Isaiah Hodgins is getting anytime touchdown.
I forgot to mention my lock of the week. Richie James, 2 drop passes.
All right, folks. I don't even know if taking Richie James 2 drop passes is doable, but if you can, that actually feels pretty good. And I do like the Isaiah Hodgins touchdown. He's probably been the most efficient and effective receiver on the entire Giants squad. Not only this whole season, but although he's only played the last maybe 7 to 8 weeks, he's really been that guy the whole entire way. So, now we'll move on to the last game of the NFC slate, which is the San Francisco 49ers taking on Seattle in San Fran, and the spread is at plus 9.5. I'm going to be honest with you here, folks. I have no issue saying that San Francisco is going to wipe the floor with the Seattle Seahawks. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't. See, what's called San Francisco probably has, I would argue, one of the most talented, if not, one of the most talented, if not the most talented roster in the entire NFL this year. They're stacked from top to bottom. It's just going to be a matter if Brock Purdy can get it done, Mr. Irrelevant. This was a guy who was actually pretty good in college, Just happened to go to a little bit of a smaller school, wasn't able to get drafted as high as many other people, but he's been quite effective this year, and I don't see a way that Seattle really is able to manage this game and come out of nowhere and win.
I don't have Seattle winning. I have the 49ers winning, but I do have it being a close game. And because the last time they played, the Niners obviously destroyed them, and I think the Seattle's going to come into this looking for revenge. So I have Seattle plus 9.5 because that's a lot of points for a spread.
I agree with that. I mean, this is, Seahawks got embarrassed the last time they played. This is a division game. So, as much as I hate the 49ers, they got a damn good team. I'm not going to lie. And they scare me. But, yeah, I think here's a good lock. George Kittle, anytime touchdown scorer. Lock it in. It's happening. Brock Purdy seems to love that man. I don't know if they share a locker or whatever happens in that locker room, but they seem to have a great connection.
Hey, that works. It's always been with younger quarterbacks, especially guys who in their rookie year, they really do look to the tight end as like a safety valve, a way to get the ball out, a way to make sure that they're able to get it out, make a completion, get some yards. And George Kittle's one of those special tight ends in the league that's way more than a safety valve. He's an explosive player, and that could be a great bet potentially, especially if you can get that damn near at the plus 200 range. So, obviously that wraps up our wild card round here. So now in round 2, the divisional round, I'm going to tell you what we're doing here, how to break this down. So I drew up a bracket. We're going to talk about these games, talk about the situations and the teams that they're going to potentially play. We'll talk, we'll flip both sides of the coin, see what we think is going to happen here. So we'll move right into our first game. Obviously, we're going to have Kansas City, the number 1 seed. They're going to be taking on either the Chargers or the Jags. Now, we saw a little bit of we saw a 2-1 split go to the Jags' way. So we'll say that they're going to play the Jags here. So let's say the Kansas City plays, they play Jacksonville in Kansas City. I don't think that this is going to be too hard of a game for Kansas City. I know Doug Peterson may have a trick or two up his sleeve, may be able to get the job done, but against a guy like Andy Reid, who's been seasoned, who's been to a couple Super Bowls at this point, a guy who's been to many AFC championships. He knows how to win, knows how to win the big game, knows how to win all the games to get to the big game. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, it's just going to be very hard to overcome that offense of Patrick Mahomes, especially with Jacksonville having kind of a pass defense. So I'd really be interested to see if Jacksonville can make a run, but I got a feeling that the Chiefs are going to, take the cake here and make it an easy game. Boys, you have anything you'd like to mention?
I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, Chiefs taking this one. I don't think either, no matter who they play, the Jaguars or the Chargers, Chiefs all the way. They're not losing in the first round.
Mahomes is just of such a talented player. It's very hard to bet against the guy who's most likely going to win the MVP award this year. Actually, you know what? He will win the MVP award this year. If you look at his stats, they are
That's interesting you say that, as
impressive.
Jalen Hurts has been a front runner this entire year
not
for
after.
MVP.
You know, if he hadn't gotten hurt, and missed 2 games, I think there'd be
I
more of an
still,
argument.
I still think he has a good case for MVP.
I do too, but if you look at it, I'm going to be honest with you, it's just the stats that Mahomes puts up are quite incredible. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jalen Hurts has been extremely efficient through the air this year, throwing, I believe, 4 or 5 interceptions throughout the entire year and over 25 touchdowns. But when Mahomes is able to put up 40 touchdowns and have, I believe he has under 10 interceptions and be very effective on the ground, I mean, he just outscores Jalen Hurts in total touchdowns this year, and I just think it's hard to overcome. So, we'll move on to our next game here, and we're going to see a potential rematch, a game that, sadly got canceled and caused a lot of playoff implications. Now, this is actually going to be very exciting because we're going to see the Bengals take on the Bills, a consensus of around here in the studio, and we really think that, I'll be honest with you guys, I have the Bengals taking this one. I think it's going to be an interesting game, almost like a vengeance game, a game that, the Bills are going to play extremely hard for. And I think we're going to see one of two things. I think we'll see either Josh Allen play the best game he's ever played, or I think we'll watch him play a mediocre game because, the little bit of pressure has gotten to him. But this has been a guy who's, he's very seasoned. He's been able to overcome pressure before, do it again. This is going to be a hard game to bet. This is going to be a hard game to do anything with because I'll be honest with you, all I see is high-scoring numbers. Bet touchdowns, bet the over, because life's too short to bet the under on this.
Facts.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I have the Bengals, boys. What do you have?
This is going to be a great game. This is the game that we should have gotten.
Probably would have been the game of the
Prayers
year.
up to DeMar Hamlin. I think the Bills are going to be emotionally charged. They're going to want to win it for DeMar, and I think they're gonna take it home. I think Josh Allen gets it done over Joe Burrow, even though I think this game could go either way. And actually, hopefully we could have overtime in this game. I think that would be great. Yeah, it could go either way, but I think Bills take it for DeMar.
I also agree with you, Dallas. I think the Bills are taking this one, but I also think it's going to be really close and high scoring.
Oh, yeah.
That always makes for a great playoff game, no matter what. It always makes it exciting. So, we're going to flip on to the other side of the pond here, go to the divisional round of the NFC now. So, in Game 1, we're going to see the Philadelphia Eagles take on what I believe we have a group consensus that the Giants will beat the Vikings. So, we're going to see the Eagles take on a Giants team that they've kind of slapped silly this year.
They could possibly take on the Seahawks also if Seattle wins, but
they could also possibly take on the Cowboys. Let's just throw that out there.
Wouldn't that be something you'd like to see?
No.
Now, they also could potentially take on Tampa Bay if
there's so many potential, but
there are a lot of potential matchups depending on what happens this playoff season. I mean, obviously the NFC is a lot more.
It's
debate.
wide open.
I think that the Eagles are going to win it no matter which of those opponents they take on.
Yeah, I sort of agree. Unless it's the Cowboys, then I think Daddy Dak, he owns the Eagles. We've been knew that.
You know what? I'd like to see a game where the Eagles get to actually play Dallas with both of our starting quarterbacks in action this year.
That'll be nice.
Because that's something we did as fans of football get to miss.
Is the charm.
Well, I guess we'll have to see because right now the series is split at 1-1. Obviously each team beating the backup quarterback on each team. Yep. I'd like to see how this plays out. Dak has been one of the more intercepted players this year. I believe he leads the
Half
league.
of them haven't been his fault, for the record, but
Yeah, but leads the league and has 5 less games than Derek Carr. And I think that'd be interesting. Now let's get back to the playoff game. I'm sorry. So we're supposed to see the Eagles take on the Giants here, and this is a game that, as a group, I'm going to be honest with you, I have a hard time seeing the Giants winning this. I think the Eagles will take the cake. They just have such a talented roster.
The Eagles are taking this one.
So in our next game, we're going to have Tampa Bay taking on the 49ers, a game that, this means a lot to Tom Brady. I mean, this is a guy from that area, a guy who used to root for San Francisco growing up. I would love to see him beat San Fran, but boys, I'm not sure about that. What do you think here?
I think that this game is going to be destruction, and I think that the 49ers are going to destroy the Bucs.
Yeah, I don't think Tom Brady stands a chance in this game. The 49ers pass rush with Nick Bosa. They're going to get sacked. They're going to get hit hard. 49ers defense is going to lock up the Bucs, and Brock Purdy's just going to have to do his whole little game manager thing, and the 49ers are going to take that one, I'd say, pretty easily, too, 24-10.
Now, this is Tom Brady going up against a rookie quarterback, a guy that can make mistakes, and that rookie, a guy who's very fresh to the league. You never know what's going to happen. But I'm going to be honest with you here, boys. I really think that we're going to end up seeing the Niners walk away with this game. I agree. I mean, there is potential to see Tampa Bay maybe do a little something here, a little something there. I think debating on how this game actually goes, how Tampa's first game goes, I think we may see something interesting. But beyond that, I'll have to move on, and we're going to start talking about the AFC Championship round. So this is a game that, it seems like it's going to be a very, very exciting game. We'll see Kansas City take on the Buffalo Bills, as we saw another 2-1 decision there in the previous round. So I'm going to be honest with you, boys. I have the Chiefs. I'm sorry. I have you know what? Yeah, I have the Chiefs winning this game. I think the Chiefs are just a team that they're able to get the job done. They're able to make it work. But I don't know, boys. I don't know. This is gonna be, no matter what, a great game. What do you guys have here?
I mean, the tale of the tape has already been told. I mean, the past 2 years, the Chiefs have owned the Bills in the playoffs.
But that's just even more of a reason why it's just not going to happen every time, I don't think. I have the Bills.
I personally think the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is Josh Allen's father, and I don't know. It's going to be a great game either way. It could go either way. I think the Chiefs get it. They get it done. Patrick Mahomes is him.
I mean, he really has been an unbelievable player, a guy who I think is going to win MVP this year, sadly, over my my hometown favorite, Jalen Hurts. But what I do have to say here is that I just think Kansas City is just that. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, again, just finds a way to get it done no matter what the game is. I believe this is going to be another game we're going to see be an absolute shootout. And, I would love to see Josh Allen get it done and somehow be that guy to finally climb the hill of Patrick Mahomes. But I just have a hard time seeing him do it. He hasn't been the guy before. He hasn't been the guy yet, but I'd like to see him do it.
I just think that if there was any team to beat the Chiefs, it would be the Bills. And the Chiefs...
What about the Bengals, though?
Also them, yeah, but I had the Bills beating the Bengals, so...
Yeah, so did I.
I would argue that the Bengals would beat the Chiefs. I just think the Bengals have that type of offense to go head-to-head, toe-to-toe.
We've seen Joe Burrow beat the Chiefs, 2 times now? But I don't think that guarantees a victory over the Chiefs.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can happen.
I think
whatever the matchup is, it's going to be a great game.
I think we can all agree here that in the AFC, I mean, there's obviously, this is like a three-headed dragon
There's
here.
There's
three teams.
Yeah.
Three teams. One of them we know will make the Super Bowl.
I think that any of them can make the Super Bowl, but also the Jags, like you said earlier, could be like the Cinderella story of this year.
They're not going to the Super Bowl.
You never know.
It just feels that the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals are just...
It's one of those three.
One of those three. Those teams are all just so good in the AFC. It's hard to not see one of them in the Super Bowl. In that Super Bowl matchup.
So we got Chiefs then 2-1.
So we'll take Chiefs 2-1 in our Super Bowl matchup in the AFC. I'm sorry, we're gonna flip over to the NFC. So in the NFC, we seemingly have Eagles 49ers consensus here. So my one big thing is that I'm taking the Eagles. I think there's no way I can't. This is gonna be a very hard fought game. A game I think will be a little bit more defensive than a lot of people think. That I don't think that this will be anywhere close to a shootout we'd see in a Bengals-Bills or a Chiefs-Bills game. Rather, we're going to see the Eagles and the Niners duke it out a lot more defensively. It's really going to come down to, who. It might come down to quarterback play at the end of the day, and I think that's what's going to end up coming down to. They're both very, very talented teams. I would argue 2 of the most talented teams in the league. So I'd like to see where that goes moving forward. I have Philadelphia. Boys.
I have the 49ers, and I think they're going to win, and the score is going to be something like 13-9. I also agree that it's going to be a very defensive
I think
game.
we can all agree. This is definitely going to be a defensive game. I think I would just give the Eagles a slight edge because they're at home. Brock Purdy in the NFC Championship game. We'll see how that bodes for the 49ers, but I would give the slight edge to the Eagles just because they're at home.
Now, I would argue that, Brock Purdy has been the best rookie quarterback in this entire NFL draft so far this previous year. Something that we really don't see. We don't see 7th-round guys, especially, Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, but you also got to look at his team. The team around him, though, is,
very
insane.
impressive.
All the more reason to pick them.
But you know what, though? I'm really thinking that we're going to end up seeing a Brock Purdy collapse. A guy, I don't think he's going to be able to sustain his success throughout the entire playoffs. I agree with that.
As much as it pains me to say, I think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl, and this is going to be a disgusting Super Bowl matchup. I can't stand to look at this, but I think it's gonna happen. I
Nope.
think Chiefs Eagles is it.
So you guys both had Chiefs Eagles, and it's interesting because I have Bills Niners in the Super Bowl.
I think
That's-
either.
Originally, I had Bills.
They're all
I had
possibilities.
Bengals, Eagles, but I think seeing as a consensus that we have currently going, we have Chiefs, Eagles.
Yeah, that
So-
seems to be the.
That seems to be the favorite here. It really does, and I'll be honest with you, I have Philadelphia. How could
Obviously, you have
I
Philadelphia.
not? Because come on,
We
I
know.
think that
look around us. How could you not?
yeah.
How could you not take the Eagles?
Of course, I do have the studio tatted up with some Eagles gear here. So
Some.
yeah.
That's
All
quite
right,
the
well you
understatement.
lose because me and Dallas both picked the Chiefs. So
Let's go.
That's great to know.
I am going to be praying so hard on the Eagles' downfall if they make the Super Bowl. I'm just like I did when they played the Patriots, and that didn't work out for me. But we'll see. Hopefully, the Chiefs win it.
Funny enough, I remember sitting across the table from this man watching that 2017 Super Bowl, and he made me want to kill him. Oh my God, it was miserable. This man made watching that game hell
I'm not
for me
sure
at
I
some
was
points.
with you for that game,
I'm pretty
Zach.
sure you were.
I think we were in my basement.
Yeah,
Ryan was there.
that's what I'm saying. But
I was at John's house for the Eagles Super Bowl.
damn. All right, well, we'll move on from here now. So, I really think that we're going to see the Eagles. I think we're going to see them play well. I think no matter what, it's going to be a good Super Bowl matchup. To see Andy Reid take on his former squad in the Super Bowl, that'd be pretty cool to see. But I don't know how it's going to be moving forward. I think the Eagles take it home. Obviously, we have a consensus here that the Chiefs will win this game. I think this game will be a little bit more high scoring if this is the matchup. I really do like
I got
it.
Chiefs 42-28. Definitely high. Definitely high scoring. Definitely a
I don't know if
high-scoring
it'll be
game.
that distant of a score. I think we'll see something more like a 35-28 type
Sure.
score.
How about
here.
that? Yeah. I mean, that's a
So-
one touchdown difference.
That's what I'm saying. I think we'll see something similar. Now, boys, before we sign off here, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
The NFL is crazy. I love it. I love football.
One last thing. I don't think the NFL is scripted, but if it was scripted, the Bills are winning the Super Bowl.
Facts. If it was scripted,
Hey, that DeMar Hamlin energy might help carry this
Also
team all
that,
the way.
yeah.
That such an injury
That's
really
why
can
I
help.
have them.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, an injury like that can really rally the boys and get the boys behind one cause. Really, make them do everything for one man. And
let's
see
throw
the
Let's
best
throw
of the
this out
sport.
there though. If you think the NFL is scripted and you're a conspiracy theorist, go fuck yourself because
Out
it's
your
not.
mind.
It's not. You're out of your fucking mind. It's not fucking
It would be
scripted.
impossible.
How would they do that? Fuck
It
you.
would be impossible.
All right, boys. Well, I'd really like to thank you guys for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. I'm sure the fans do too because, it's always good to have good energy going on in the building. So, I'd like to thank idiot number 2, Jack, on my right.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. And idiot number 3 on my left, Dallas. Thank you.
Thank you. Go Cowboys.
Oh, I hope that never happens again on this pod. Well, fans here, I really appreciate you coming out here and listening. Thank you so much. And for idiot number 1, go Birds.